say hi?
Hi.
Hi. You gonna start cooking today? Can you say hi again? Can you say cookie? Can you say apple?
Apple.
Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, you're gonna say goodbye. Say bye-bye. You say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good job. Here we go. See your dada. Hello. You got a new angle today. Congratulations. So, we are going to make one pot mac and cheese. It's the easiest thing in the world, and my exposure is awful. I apologize. There's not much I can do about it. One pot, super simple, easier than making a box of KD, and less dishes. All right, pot on stove. I'm turning mine to medium high. I'm adding pasta. Now this is a totally adjustable recipe where you kind of cook and change things as you go. So per person, if you're making a full serving of mac and cheese for yourself or anybody else, you probably want about 1 cup of dried pasta. We'll make 2 cups of cooked pasta. So if you're eating it as a full meal, normally 2 cups. That's what my husband eats or I eat. If you're making it as a side, maybe half a cup. I didn't even measure. I eyeballed it. I'm going to drop that in. And I like cooking mine with milk because it makes it nice and creamy and tasty. So I'm going to pour my milk until it's covered. It's that simple for now. And we're going to let it cook. And we're going to bring it up to a boil and keep stirring it because milk will scald, meaning it's going to burn to the bottom of your pot and create that bubble texture, almost like tripe, if you know what I'm talking about with tripe. Tripe is the stomach lining of an animal, and if that's where trypophobia comes from, where it's the fear of holes. So yeah, we don't want that. It's a pain in the butt to clean. This is a really hard angle. Let's see if this helps at all. Oh, that's really bright. That kind of helps. All right, so it's this simple. Right now you also want to add in your salt and pepper because that's what adds flavor to the pasta. You don't want your pasta being bland. If you want to add different things in, I like adding salt and pepper, some garlic powder and paprika in mine, but really use whatever you have in your cupboard. So salt, pepper, and we like pepper, so I'm going to add a lot of fresh pepper. All right. So, pepper, and again, just stirring it every minute or so, making sure we're not getting that layer of film. And then we have a little bit of water. I've measured some water out. I might need more, I might need less. It's just in an easy to dump in measuring glass. And I have shredded cheese. If you don't have shredded cheese, I'm just lazy. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I don't have time to shred my cheese. It's just easier for me to pull it out of a bag. I used to be the person that, no, it's a waste of money, but my time is worth buying this lovely shredded cheese. Shred your cheese before you put it in, so if you are ready to go, make sure you have a bowl of that shredded cheese ready to go. And the sharper the cheese, the better for me personally. Because it gives more flavor. Or, if you're really desperate, you pull out the plastic cheese. Okay? This will add that classic cheese flavor that every childhood knows so well. You can do this with Parmesan, you can do this with mozzarella. Again, the stronger cheeses are going to make a better flavor for your mac and cheese at the end. So I'm also going to add in my other seasonings that I like to add in, which is my paprika. Also adds a nice color. And garlic powder. Just because that's what we like here. Just a little bit will go a long way. Alright, just keep stirring this. It's almost to a boil here. you're going to notice that my milk is going to start clinging to the side. It's going to make a film, and that's fine. That's why we want to keep stirring it. We want to make sure that the bottom doesn't burn. You're basically cooking your pasta in the sauce that you'll be covering it in at the end. I made this for my daughter last night for dinner because we ran out of time for food, because life, and she was shoveling it into her face with fistfuls. So it's baby approved, which means the world. So again, I'm just bringing it up to a boil, letting it cook. And I'm going to cook this until the pasta is cooked and we have a little bit of liquid left in our pot. We're boiling. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. I don't want to try to get that film on the bottom. I also don't want my milk to boil over. So you'll notice your milk is actually getting thicker because of the starch released from your pasta. And this is why I do it in a pot, because your milk will rise. The pasta is releaching starch or flour into your milk, which is going to make it thicker. That's why when a lot of people who make pasta save their pasta water to thicken their sauces, because the flour or the starch is released into the water and it will act as a thickening agent in a sauce. We don't have pasta water, we now have pasta milk, and it's just going to thicken down to a nice, thick, creamy mac and cheese sauce. Again, just keep stirring it, make sure your pasta's not sticking to the bottom. You can see how much thicker that already looks on my spatula here. And we just let it cook. This is a nice, easy thing with staples that you have in your house. You do not need to use macaroni. If you have spaghetti, if you have rigatoni, if you have whatever you have in your cupboard, you can do this with that. If it's gluten-free, if it's lentils, it would still work. Whatever you got pasta-wise in your cupboard, you can make it happen as long as you got milk, pasta, and some kind of cheese. Does anyone find boiling anything relaxing? It's almost ASMR-like, the sound of a boiling pot. Just like the sounds of a crackling fire. Alright, I notice it's getting really thick now, so I'm going to add a little bit of water because I know it's going to need more water for my pasta to absorb. So I'm going to add half of this there. So that was about half a cup of water just to thin it back out because I know my pasta is going to want to absorb more. But I kept it milk first because I want the pasta to absorb the milk first, not the water first. And I want it to be that creamy pasta. So now that it's started to absorb most of that water, I'm going to add in that, most of the milk. I'm going to add the water in because I know it has absorbed some of that full fat, 2% milk. You can use any milk as well. I have not experimented using almond or milk substitutes with this recipe. That is something you guys can do and get back to me with, but I have tried it with skim 2% and 3% and everything is fine. Whatever you got, you can cook with. Alright. This is looking good. Just gonna keep that cooking. It's gonna take a second to come back to a boil because my water's at room temperature. And there we go, we're back. Pasta will take the same amount of time it says on your package, only most of the time, maybe even a little bit longer, especially if you're incorporating water back into it. So that's probably about 8 to 10 minutes, which is the same amount of time that is on the back of a Kraft Dinner box. This is going to be just a lot healthier for you because it's not processed, or not processed as much. You're using pretty much whole ingredients, depending on if you use your plastic cheese or not. I think Costco still carries the Kraft Dinner shaker full of powdered cheese, and you can add that into this too, and that would work. I just like boiling my pasta in milk. It is one of the best pasta hacks that I can tell you. It makes it so creamy and delicious, especially with a cheese-based sauce. Maybe not with a marinara-based sauce, but cheese. How far we have to go with these still. Let's let that cool. Again, we're getting quite thick and creamy. I know a lot of people like their mac and cheese made a different way. Some people like it more soupy, some people make it thicker, some people don't like, and they just want the noodles coated in cheese. This allows you to do it to whatever level. You're just gonna add or subtract water. So if it gets to the right thickness, you just pull it off and add a little bit of water because it will thicken as your sauce sets, especially with the cheese in there. Let's see how this pasta's doing. We are almost there. I like ours nice and al dente, so I'm just going to let this thicken basically to whatever point I want my pasta to be. So I'm going to give it an extra probably minute just to absorb some of that water I added. I don't think I'm going to have to add any more water. Does that look good already though? If you wanted to add any kind of other protein in here right now, you can do some chicken. Some buffalo chicken would be really good in here. Your hot dogs, your classic hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. Add it in at the end. Let the heat from the pasta warm up your protein. Don't have it pre-cooked. Don't try to cook it in here. That will just make a mess. All right, so we're getting pretty good there. I know it's going to thicken, so I'm going to start adding my cheese. And how I do this is the easiest thing in the world. I'm going to take a handful of cheese out of my bag and put it in my pot. And I know I'm going to need more, so I'm going to add 2. I'm going to reduce my heat to low. I'm just going to stir this until it's incorporated. And I do like adding just 1 slice of cheese to hack that fake cheese flavor that is famous in Kraft Dinner. I'm going to peel it and just put it into chunks and just stir to combine. So you still get that bright orange since I'm using yellow cheddar or sharp cheddar here. Oh yeah. Doesn't that look delicious? Nice and cheesy. You can see the cheese in the pole. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to add 1 more thing of cheese to this. It's for 2 people, and I normally add 1.5 for a personal. handfuls of cheese until it's as cheesy as you want. And it's always important to taste your food as you go. So I tasted my pasta. I knew I didn't need any more salt. It might need more pepper because I like pepper. But you got one pot. That's all I got dirty. Yeah, I dirtied a thing to pour the pasta in and a cup to pour the water in, but you don't have to do that. You could just, you do what you do. Do what you need to. All right, let's see. It's gonna be very hot. Yeah. It needs pepper, but it's good. It's so good. Add more pepper. I'm gonna put this in a bowl. And my lunch is ready. I really like pepper. There we go. All right. Oh yeah. If you really wanted to get fancy with this, you can add, if you want a little bit extra creaminess, you can add a pat, as they say, of butter in there. Or you can put this in a baking dish and put some breadcrumbs or panko crumbs on top. Mix with a little bit of oil and bake it off under an oven. Oh, that'd be really good with a nice crust on top. All right, I had my butter in there, added a little bit of things. That's totally optional. Makes it a little bit more silky. And this is how my household likes our mac and cheese. Then I had a bowl, then I had my pasta in already. See, less dishes, great. One of us will eat out of the pot and one of us will eat out of the bowl because I don't want to do any more dishes than I have to. Oh yeah. There we go. You have your one pot mac and cheese that tastes like real cheese. I hope you guys have a good day. This is an interesting setup on my kitchen sink, but see you later. Bye.